Hi.
Hey, welcome to Qianna's
And Davidson's life
life
coaching
coaching
podcast.
podcast.
That was good. I
That
think
was fun. That was fun.
we'll be better next time.
Gotta practice that a little bit.
Yeah, so we have this life coaching podcast and we are talking about
Life
and coaching.
and coaching.
So Davidson and I met, oh my gosh, was it like 11 months ago?
Damn, that time flies by.
Yeah, but it's also like we only have known each other 11 months, but we've known each other for 11 months. We
Yeah.
met in a life coach training program because we are both now practicing life coaches. And through that training program, he and I and the rest of the team got really close and we decided to start this podcast so we can bring life coaching into the mainstream and tell us about your vision with this. I know you are super passionate about it.
Yeah, my vision is to make life coaching as common as therapy. Everyone knows about therapy. Everyone has their preconceived notions of what therapy is. And similarly, I think people have preconceived notions about what life coaching is. I think most people relate to coaching as like Tony Robbins, like I'm the expert or I'm the guru. I tell you what to do. Like I know all the answers, like you should listen to me. And I know, I'm sort of like a motivational speaker, whereas our type of coaching is a lot different.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with like those different approaches where it's motivational speaking or telling or giving direction.
Advice.
Yeah. But like you said, we approach it differently and we are spending these episodes delving into how we approach it. And then today's episode is FAQs.
Woo!
Frequently asked questions.
I'm excited.
Which, we get a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. And frequently they're the same questions from different people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So first question. So how quickly can I get results?
Depends on how much money you pay me. No, just kidding.
Look,
that's actually the wrong answer. That's not.
We're joking. We're joking.
Yeah.
You can't see our faces. We're laughing and joking.
Yeah, that's a good question. I often respond with, it depends on how committed you are. Some of the logistics is typically we work with our clients for an hour a week, right? So 4 times a month, and it definitely depends on like how committed you are to your, your actions, your being, like how much you want to work on it, right? So it literally is as dedicated as you want to be, right?
Yeah.
How would you answer that if someone asked you that question?
Well, I will sometimes ask, like, what has you concerned with how fast you can get results? But
there you go.
But and then
that's why she makes the big bucks,
but then I just like break it down to them in terms of like, this is like you said, we meet once a week for an hour, 4 times a month. There is homework or practices that you do in between each session, and if you are dedicated to doing the things that you create during our sessions and keeping that momentum going, the possibility is endless, right? You may see results in a week. Something may shift. But I try to refrain from like guaranteeing, because I can't guarantee an individual's progress.
Yeah. And it's unethical to actually tie the payments to
a result. Yeah.
Just because there's so many factors that you can't control, right? Like literally how committed is the person, because it varies depending on the person.
I dropped something. People who are listening, I just dropped something and it was funny. He laughed at me. But yeah, it's true. Like we can't, like there's too many like different factors, variables involved. So yeah, we can't really tell you how quickly. I do tell clients that typically I contract with people for at least 3 months. Just because you got to give some time. Rome wasn't built in a day. All of your habits, your habits that you built that aren't serving you probably didn't happen overnight. So it's going to take a little while to like transform those. So
Yeah.
Typically 3 months is like what
Bare
I say is
minimum.
the bare minimum of
Yeah.
time to work together.
Yeah, that's a good question. Another question that I get often is, yo, are you guys like Tony Robbins? What do you guys what do you guys do? Like, do I like jump up and down and do I walk across coal? Like, what's that all about? So
No.
yeah, if someone asks you like, are you a motivational speaker? What would you say to them?
I said, no, no, no. And then I'll launch into like the differences between them and us, or our style of coaching. So no, it's a more of a partnership and a dialogue and a long-term relationship. So yeah, we facilitate workshops, which are like 1 or 2 day things sometimes, but the bulk of like what we do with our clients individually is just building that relationship and having them create what it is they want, and we are there to like support them, hold them accountable,
Mm-hmm.
reflect back what we're seeing, listen to what they're saying, what they're not saying,
Yep.
like remind them, hey man, remember like 3 months ago you said you wanted to do this, and for the last 6 weeks you've just been doing the other thing, and we've been talking about it every week. What's up with that?
Yeah.
So that's how it's different. And again, there's nothing wrong or right with either approach. It really is just about what the person needs.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So do you see that the longer you work with a client, the more trust, and do you think it's sort of like in the beginning, there's some like hesitation, or there's like sometimes people hold back like saying everything or what they actually want, and do you see like throughout the relationship it becomes a lot more like open and honest like as every week goes by?
It varies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do personally as a client, because I have a
Mm-hmm.
coach as well.
Yeah.
It took me some time to really build that relationship with my coach
Yeah.
and be 100%. And I will say that once I was really transparent about what was going on and what I was actually thinking on the calls and in our sessions, then things started to move even faster. Like things were transforming at a rapid pace. I'm like, oh shit, this coaching works. But then I said, okay, we're at a good spot. I think I trust her now. And I really let it go, and wow, like so many things opened up.
Yeah, I think of it as sort of like even like a relationship with your significant other, right? In the beginning, like it's still like like, all right, like am I gonna let them into like my deep dark secrets yet? Or sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes 3 months. It takes some time to build that, like and then like just getting related. It's like, okay, like I see where they're at. I feel like that's like a big part of it.
Yeah, and sometimes people will ask about the confidentiality because they say, I don't trust you. Like you're a stranger. Why should I trust you? You don't have a medical degree from, Johns Hopkins or something on your wall. What makes you trustworthy?
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that. That is a common question. Like, what is coaching regulated? What's ICF? What's all that about?
What's ICF?
You want me to answer it?
You can just tell me the letters, what they stand for.
The International Coaching Federation. Yeah, sounds official.
International Coaching Federation. Not to be confused with the Starfleet Federation.
She's a professional actress, as you guys can tell. She's basically like a Broadway star. So.
Oh yes, yeah. Speak it. But yeah, no, International Coach Federation. So, bottom line is, coaching is not like regulated by like a federal entity. There is a governing body, which is the International Coach Federation, and they have set forth a set of standards that coaches who are certified by them must adhere to. They have 11 competencies. The very first one is the confidentiality competency. You have to disclose things to your clients, but you won't talk about their stuff to anyone. And then there's a competency around like building a relationship with your client.
Yeah.
And if you
It's a big part
want
of
to
it.
be a certified coach, you have to demonstrate that you have that muscle and flex it. And then there are lots of other things. So, yeah, what else do you normally tell people when they ask?
About
Like regulation,
oh,
confidentiality.
okay. Yeah. I would say like a big part of it obviously is the trust, right? And setting the expectations, like, look, we have a strict core competencies, like you, and then occasionally they'll even audit our calls, and that's so to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to be doing according to the guidelines, so that we're not doing something shady or just something different than what the expectations are. So
Yeah.
it is good that they do that, so that there's structure, there's a format, there's like an agenda, like, okay, like you have to meet the guidelines, or else what you're doing is not like ethical or moral or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, what about people who aren't certified by the ICF?
Yeah.
Or went through programs that aren't accredited by the International Coach Fed. Are they bad coaches? Are they wrong coaches?
No. I tend to see from my experience that those types tend to be more consulting, where they're more like advice givers, they're more experts. So it's just a different way of coaching. It's not saying that theirs is worse. It's just depending on what the person wants. We find that it's more effective to have coaching because you're not telling them what to do. It's like, like if I ran like 100 marathons and this is your first marathon, it's like, if I tell you, these advanced tricks of the trade, it might not be as effective as if I actually ran besides you or right behind you, and I'm like, hey, like, where do you want to run? Yeah, you like
Little
that?
running Davidson.
It's like totally different. So yeah. I wouldn't say one is better or worse. It's just what what you want, and what type of partnership you're trying to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What other questions do you get?
Yeah, I think a question I get often is sort of like how'd you like get into like coaching, because a lot of people hasn't heard of it, so they're like, yeah, like how does one even get into something like that? Like, do you guys get trained, or
like, did we talk about this on the last episode?
I think a little bit, but not like specifics.
No, that's true. So yeah, I think we talked about like it was more how did we individually like so let's come into this, but like how do you get trained and find programs? You want me to tell you how I did it?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, what had happened was, I once I decided that I wanted to pursue getting trained on this, I started just researching for programs.
That's smart.
The internets.
I love that.
And I created like a little spreadsheet of like the names, the cost, and like the duration of the program. Yeah. And I like went hard on the research at first, and then I put it away, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's whatever. And then I came back to it, and I would like add a couple more programs every time I found something. Interesting. And funny thing is, I just happened to see in December when I signed up for this program, I just happened to see a former coworker's post on LinkedIn. She had liked someone's life coaching thing, and I was like, that's weird. Why is she liking this life coaching post? Let me see her profile. And it turned out that she graduated from accomplishment coaching. I said, let me just ask her about the program. Okay. She told me about the program, and then I said, let me look and see if I already have information on it. And it was already like at the top of my list. Wow. I just had never that's crazy. Put the foot forward, and then that's how I ended up. Yeah. Wow. But yeah, researching, asking people. And now that I think about it, a few months before, one of my actor friends had actually mentioned accomplishment coaching and told me about their observation, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I kind of forgot about it because I was doing like plays or something, and then came across Kaylin's profile on LinkedIn, and I was like, oh yeah, she's crushing it. Well, universe, what is that? I should go here. All right. and then here we are. Yeah.
Wow. That's a cool story. Yeah.
Thank you for asking me because, I forgot about it,
Yeah, it's
You gotta
interesting how
reflect
it
sometime.
like
Yeah.
comes full circle.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like all these little signs, like it's like,
Huh.
oh, LinkedIn. It's like, oh, someone told me about observation. Oh, I did some research, but and then you came back to it, and it's like, oh shit, like it just worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
It's
you?
crazy.
Oh wait, I think I know. You tell us though. I kind of remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How you got here.
my story is kind of funny, and this like the number one. I always tell everyone this, and they find it fascinating. Like, I went through like this crazy journey of like life coaching. Like, I listened to every Tony Robbins podcast. Like, listen to Lewis Howes, who's another famous life coach. Like all these different life coaches, like spiritual coaches, and similarly, like listen to Oprah's Super Soul Sundays, and I was sort of like, like, man, this life coaching thing, it keeps like popping up everywhere. Like I just keep seeing it. So I actually like hired a life coach that was a part of a different program, and he's actually certified as well. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then I actually hired like another coach that was different, that wasn't certified by ICF. So it was more like consulting. But I mean, I got value from both, so I wouldn't say one was better than the other. And it was just really interesting. And then I read all these books, like all your Dale Carnegie's, all your like all the famous
Earl Nightingale.
Yeah, like listen to him on podcasts.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, like I just kept exposing myself, and
Bob Proctor.
Oh yeah. There's all these like there was like Darren Hardy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just like something I was always in. So my initial perception of life coaching was, I guess, more of like the motivator, like sort of like if you listen to me, you're gonna be inspired to like conquer the world. And so that was my initial perception of life coaching, which many of you guys probably have that, because I feel like that's the more common type of life coaching. And then I came into this world, I'm like, wow, it's totally different.
Yeah.
I think what we do is more sustainable. It's more like more permanent change. Whereas I feel like the motivational things is great, right? But then it's like cyclical. It's like sometimes you listen to it and you're like, yeah, I'm pumped for like, for like a couple hours, but it's like I still resorting back to like my original like automatic self, So it's just different. Whereas what we do, it's like we're working out the muscles. So it's like sort of like going to the gym every day. It's like it takes time, and then eventually you wake up and you're like, boom. Whereas like, like it's like I can read like 1,000 books about motivational stuff, but then like, is my life really changing? If I'm not putting it into action, if I'm not having steps every day that I'm working on something, it's different, Yeah. So that's like a long answer, but I feel like that's a common thing with a lot of people that have a misperception of what life coaching like is, or what we do.
Yeah, they have like a very myopic view of what it is based on what is most popular. Which, I mean, Tony Robbins is killing it.
Yeah, he's making a lot of money.
Yeah, and
there's value in what he does.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's like, yeah, he's making money too, but he also is just like out there.
Yeah,
he did say that he is not your guru.
Yeah,
but
great documentary, by the way.
I obviously think that there's places for both. Right?
Yeah, they complement each other.
Yeah.
Well.
What other questions do you get?
I do get like, do you do like career coaching, or do you do business coaching?
Like niche. What's your niche?
Yeah. Like, do you do relationships? Like, what's your specialty? Yeah.
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
So yes, I get that question, and then I will start off saying I was very resistant to saying that I worked with any particular group of people. So for all you budding life coaches out there, I understand if you are too resistant because you feel like you may isolate a large population of the world by saying, "Oh no, I focus on this." But I found that it was actually really valuable because people know when I say I'm working with women, mid-career women who are also first-generation college grads. They know, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
And I want to work with her. Or I say I'm working with people in the tech space who want to not only access their head, but their heart and grow their emotional intelligence. And they're like, oh, that's me. I know, otherwise cool. It's like, I'm a life coach, and then at least space for people to ask the question of like, can she coach me on what I want?
Yeah.
Yes, we can coach on it. We coach to anything because we're not experts. Right. And that's where I was afraid. I didn't want, I was like, well, if we're not experts, why would I say I work with a specific set of people?
Yeah.
It's really, for me, it's about like what I'm passionate about and what I want to put out. And I want to put out everything to everyone.
Yeah.
But those groups of people that I'm focusing on, like, of course, it's special to me because I am them also, right?
Yeah,
you know?
helps.
So, what's your niche?
Yeah, it's interesting. So similarly, I had like a similar experience where like, I don't want to like pigeonhole to like a specific type of like audience, but I just reflected and noticed like the same type of people keep coming to me. And I do notice like it's people that are like really good at their careers, but they're looking for something else, like something more fulfilling. Like they're at a stage where they're like, all right, I'm, killing it in corporate America, but, I think honestly, like, I think there's something else for me. And I found that to be like the most common theme. So it's hard to even like quantify it into like words, but it's people that are kind of like, I wouldn't say like midlife crisis because we're not that old yet, but like quarter life crisis where they've been in corporate for like 5 to 10 years and, they could be making a lot of money, but they're like, I think there's something else for me, And I find that to be like really, really common. Or people that are like, just like, they're hesitant to like do this like really big project. Like, for instance, they're like either consultants or work for like in corporate banking, or working in finance, working like 80 hours or 60 hours a week. And then they're like, like I kind of want to start my own firm or start my own business, but I'm not sure where to start. I feel like that's like a really common, there are people that those type of people gravitate towards me.
So, well, just to recap for our listeners and viewers. So, you have, what are your niches again?
People in corporate that are looking for the next level. That next level shit.
He's got your back. He's got you.
Got you.
And, if you're a woman who's mid-career, you want something more, you happen to also be a first-generation college graduate, holla at me.
Yeah.
If you are working in the tech space and you realize that, you might be a little more impactful if you are able to access your heart as well as your head. Holla at your girl. And I didn't mention this earlier, but global relocation. You trying to leave this country, not because you whatever. You just want to live in another country and experience life or travel. Let me know.
Yeah.
And again, we can coach to anything. But those are like the groups that we tend to, like Davidson said, gravitate to, or they gravitate to us.
Yeah. It's just like natural. Like it's just like those people are the ones that just we like attract. It's like the laws of attraction. It's an interesting concept, but it's true. It's like interesting to think about sometimes.
It's true. Oh wait, this is not the this isn't the singing podcast. Sorry, y'all.
Sorry, we got the mic here.
I know.
It's all good.
I feel like I should have my hair done up like this, and then I can be like, Burr. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I guess like a common like question that I get is do you guys help us with like relationship stuff? Like, my relationship with my significant other, that's like something I always get, where whenever like they have like a breakdown, like, like my husband is driving me nuts. Like what should I do about it? And then we'll coach around that too. Yeah.
So you
like, do you get that sometimes? Like sometimes people are like, yeah, like, like sometimes I get questions about like, yeah, like, I've been single for pretty much forever. And I'm looking to get coached around that.
Yeah. I haven't yet personally. I don't think gotten anything that's like very, very specific like that or pointed.
Yeah.
But
well, that'd be one out of the things that they're looking to do. Like not.
Yeah.
Like that's not the only thing.
But yeah, relationships are a hot topic.
Yeah.
Everybody. And yeah, you can support. I can support them. You can support them.
Yeah. I think the common thing is like, we're not experts, right? Like the whole point of coaching is really like, we're like a reflective mirror. So essentially we're not telling you what to do, but asking you questions, powerful questioning that will help you realize like, oh, wow. So you actually have the answer inside of you. Sometimes people just need a soundboard to bounce ideas off of. And we find that to be actually more valuable because, you know, when an expert tells you something, like sometimes like people in general don't listen, like, because, you know, people get defensive when it's like when you tell someone what to do, right? And you know best, like just because I know something has nothing to do with what you actually want. If anything, it's the opposite. Like sometimes like I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
And conversely, there's some people who want to be told what to do.
Right.
For various reasons, but is it really the most empowering thing for somebody else?
And you
to,
might ask them why.
Life?
Yeah, and you might ask them, why do you want me to tell you what to do? What's what's that
behind
all?
That?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Yeah. So you all are responsible for creating your life, and we're here to support you through it. And you can create whatever life you want. The possibility literally is endless.
Yeah. It's funny like saying that because I used to be like, yeah, okay, like, yeah,
shut up,
yeah, try living in my shoes and see.
You don't know my life.
Yeah. But then, you know, the more we dive into the work, you're like, holy shit, like anything is possible. You know, like this podcast, I would have told you you're crazy a year ago. Like, yeah, right, like me do a podcast, you crazy, bro. Like, okay.
And then yet you had this idea, and
yeah, I would have been like, yeah, if I gained like 30 pounds of muscle and grew like 5 inches, I would do a podcast. Or if I got a Harvard MBA.
Which is so hilarious because you're sitting down. Who cares if you're 5 inches taller? But true. No, I see. Like, it's totally,
It's all in our head.
It is all in our
head. And we'll
head.
make excuses. It's like, yeah, well, I didn't, you know, I don't have my 3rd master's in psychology. Why would I do it?
Yeah, I don't have this. I don't have that. And sometimes it's really as simple as, I'm sleepy. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Because like, full disclosure, today I really didn't want to come. I was like, I'm so tired.
I didn't put on deodorant. That's why. So.
Well, I guess things got really real just now. We are very transparent with one another.
Yeah.
But what had you come anyway? Yeah. Well, I know what had me come. I'm telling you.
I mean, I think like what I realized is like, it's easy to like do things that we're comfortable with, right? Like I could have easily just stayed home on a weekend and there's just Netflix and no chill, right? But instead, I'm like, I'm gonna come and not no Netflix and chill with Qianna.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I know you haven't said it, but there's something in there about like being in integrity with your commitments, right?
Yeah. That's like the real reason. Yeah.
Because I mean, I had all of these very, very good, solid reasons
snowing
why
outside.
I should not be here. I'm tired. It's snowing. My
bust my ass this week. Right? Working like crazy hours.
Oh, I thought you meant like fall.
Oh, that's it.
Oh no, do you need a cast?
No.
But yeah, I think, you know, I said, you know, I made this commitment. It's on the calendar. We agreed to doing this. And all it takes is one time to like give yourself a pass. Well, for me, it takes just one time to say, oh, it's okay if I like don't do it.
We'll do it next week.
If I flake on this. And then there you go.
Yeah, and then next week becomes like a month later. It becomes 2 months. And it becomes like, oh, shit.
We haven't done this in a long time, ever. Yeah. But patterns, we talked last episode about noticing like your patterns in relationships and how it just like bleeds into other parts of your life. I saw where my pattern was emerging around flaking. And I was like, nope, disrupting it, get up,
Mm.
do it. Because
Yeah.
why not, right? So
Yeah.